Hey everybody, let me know if everything looks okay and sounds okay. It's time to step away from the dream world and into the real world. Where am I going with this? I'm going back. I'm going back this way. There we go. Hi everybody. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've streamed a game from the garage since we moved into the studio. So I had to figure that out. Mic placement, the sync and everything. This is Dreams. I'm about to play Dreams for the very first time. I've demoed this game twice. This is the early access, just launched. I've been staring at the screen for the last 20 minutes. And I've yet to create my little guy. I'm gonna go with Mr. Green fella in the corner there. But don't forget, disclosures need to be voiced and text. Oh, thank you. Yes, let's add some text. Review copy generously provided by PlayStation. Thank you so much, PlayStation. Let me make a little graphic. Hey everybody, talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, we how this is gonna go today is right now I'm gonna obviously go through tutorials. I'm gonna mess around more with the creation stuff, and then tonight for a group stream tonight, 6 p.m. we're going to Dream Surf. We're just gonna play games created by other people. We are not going to be creating anything tonight. Forgot about the on-screen text. Technically, it's access provided by PlayStation, because I'm not going to review this game for a good long while. So, there we go. Just so you know, access provided by PlayStation. Thank you, PlayStation. Because I was a little nervous. You know, I got my Move controllers ready to go. What are our options here? I'm feeling the green guy. Yeah, green guy for sure.
Yes!
Alright.
That one belongs.
What's up, everybody? Streaming games feels good. I've streamed games recently, and I got the camera.
Now to see what your imp can do.
Around. Woo!
Press and hold the options button.
Early
and your imp
access!
will snap to the center of the screen. Don't be
totally
afraid.
missed what she said.
Press and hold the options button.
Oh, the options button and then snaps? Okay.
Yes!
Boom.
Great! Your
I'm gonna be too busy talking to you.
The smallest movements of your wireless controller.
And I'm not gonna
That's because it's
to what's going
attached to
on.
the controller's motion sensor. You only need to move the controller a teeny tiny amount to get your.
And I bet for a lot of people this is gonna take some getting used to.
Go on.
It's just like, I'd rather move the
it
analog
around.
stick, and it's like, this is kinda...
Think of the light bar on the front of the controller as a flashlight beam conducting your imp.
Ooh.
You see
Okay,
that
so yeah, if you want to censor
cluster
them, there
of
you go.
creativity.
Oh, I see these clusters of creativity all right.
Touch it. That's it.
That's what you all are, chat.
Now,
You're all
connect those
just
two
clusters of
top and
creativity.
bottom. See how that feels.
So
Yes.
I've quote-unquote demoed this
Magnificent.
game many times, but I've actually never played
You
this.
can also nudge the imp against the edge of the screen to recalibrate it. Anytime your imp gets unruly, press and hold the options button to recenter it. Now,
What's up?
let's
In the beta
play
forums, they
with
said they're
Dreams.
working on non-motion
See if you
controls.
can catch all those dancing shapes. Unleash those
kinda like this,
colours and
though.
sounds.
Because then you can do this. And then you can move objects in 3D space instead of doing that with the analog stick.
Very
It does get a little
good.
confused though.
You're a natural.
I'll be honest, I could just do this for 2 hours.
Wow, it's a symphony.
This actually does remind me a little bit of
See
the
how
intro
your
to the
imp
original
can
Disney
affect
Infinity.
Everything it touches.
Not to shout out that franchise, but
Playing to the wild.
what you didn't see was the part before the imp. It definitely opened with like,
You're
in the
wonderful.
beginning there was nothing, and
You're
then there
a
was light
dream
and sound.
surfer.
It's like,
You're.
it's kind of how Infinity opened. All right. Yeah, so this is just going to be 2 hours of me goofing around, folks. Buckle
Oh
up.
no.
Oh
You
no.
found the wall of
The
doubt.
wall of doubt.
Don't worry.
Oh no.
Everyone doubts themselves in the beginning. See that loose break?
Uh-huh.
Try using the pointy tip of your imp to grab hold of it.
Okay.
That's it. Pull that wall down.
No more doubt.
Brick. Who does it think it is?
Episode
Get
9's gonna
rid
be
of
good.
it!
Game of Thrones is gonna end well. 33 coverage is gonna work.
Your idea's getting away. Chase it down.
Oh my goodness. Come on now. Oh, there we go. We did it.
It should be in here somewhere. Oh, more barriers. Cast them aside. There it is. Come on, keep up.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. I remember this part.
Dark. The only source of energy is you. What can you do?
One, two, three. Dream.
We have light. A good start. If only we had a way of exploring this place. Now we're really getting somewhere.
Yes. I'm really looking for. I mean, there's no way to know if our group stream tonight's gonna be great, but I think it will be. I think just a bunch of these just completely weird, wacky games.
There must be.
I think
some way
Damiani's
to
gonna
get
get like
there.
intensely
Great
focused on
work.
this game.
We're so close.
All right.
Look at that seedling. The Dreamiverse loves to help things grow.
Dreamiverse.
That's it. Amazing what a little nurture.
Because I just figured there was a plant and water.
Almost
I should
there.
probably water the plant. I've been waiting for this game for so long. It's crazy because I've been talking about this game a lot and I haven't really played it. So I feel bad. I think it was like my #1 fear this morning. It's like, I don't want to lead anybody astray. So we tend to reserve conversations about games until we've, like, you know, played them and stuff.
Dreams.
And I demoed it a bunch, and it was always really fun whenever I demoed it, but who knows?
Blind universe of
Here it is.
possibilities.
Finally downloaded on my PlayStation 4. Let's start dreaming, okay? Game is a bit loud. Yeah, I thought it might be. Cool.
Ah, this is your very own home space.
Home space.
You'll always start dreaming from here.
Cool.
As you can see, my little cone friend is happy to help you wander around.
Little cone person. A happy cone. What's this?
You got a prize bubble.
I got a prize bubble.
Well done. There's a lot more around. They've got all sorts of useful goodies in them. See if you can find a few.
It's funny, I wonder if that's like the same exact sound from Little Big Planet. Like the exact same sound. I'm gonna have to build a bridge here. Aha.
Excellent finds. Now for the entrance to the Dreamiverse.
Maybe I'll build stuff later.
Press the circle button. Use the tip of your imp. So much to see. Decisions, decisions.
Yeah.
Choose dream surfing to experience other dreamers' creations. Or pop into dream shaping to make something of your own.
Oh, we'll be shaping. Was that it? Okay. Whoa, did you read those disclosures? I didn't read that. What? Too quick, too quick.
This is dream shaping.
Intimidating.
You have the power to manifest anything you can imagine. Anything. Music, a story, a piece of art, a whole game.
Yeah, we're definitely going through the
Even
tutorials, there's no question.
Something there is no word for yet. Create things from scratch using the dream tools.
Okay.
Or you can use them to remix something another dreamer has made. For now, I'll take you to the Dreams Workshop, where my
good idea.
friend, the Dreams Architect, will introduce you to the secrets of creation.
So what we got to do over the next hour 45. We got to figure out the there we go. Okay. Dreams Masterclass. Oh my. Okay. Cool.
Go on in. He won't bite. Promise.
Tutorials mass area. Tutorials. Whoa!
So you want to learn the ropes of dream shaping.
Uh-huh.
But you don't know where the tools are on the shelf. Or how to use that intriguing gadget. Or you want to know what that strange contraption over there does. Architect.
Oh, Meteor
assist us.
Molecule, you're always so cute with your tutorials.
Ah, hello, Architect.
Hello, Queenie. Why am I a squirrel?
Just a temporary physical form for you. I like it. It's cute.
Well, thank you. It's better than the last one.
Now, show this dream shaper how to unleash their creative powers.
Done! Follow me, Dreamer. Oh, it's so exciting that you're here. I have been really looking forward to this. There is so much to show you. Gameplay, animation, art. There's no limit to what's possible.
Just hang down in the corner. I'll cover up this logo here. Oh, no.
This is the Dreams Workshop.
Early access!
Which controller do you have?
Alright. Oh, yeah. Okay. The grab cam.
Look at you with your fancy motion controllers. Looks like you're ready to start wielding them like a first-class dream shaper. Make sure you follow the steps carefully if you want to get
put on
the
our
most
wristbands,
out of this
everybody. Gotta be
tutorial.
safe.
It's not just about getting to the end. It's the journey
The
that
brand
counts.
spanking new move controller. This is the first game I've ever played with these. So here we go.
Shortly, you'll be in edit mode, creating and editing your own scenes. First, I'm going to
So this is like a little playhead, so I can rewind the tutorials. Okay. Just figured, why not, folks? Let's do it.
Welcome to edit
Especially with the
mode.
shaping, you know.
You can see that we're in edit mode because the assembly mode icon is in the top left of the screen.
The assembly icon. Okay.
If you ever need to remind yourself of the controls, select that icon with the X button on your primary controller for a reminder.
And I'm guessing primary controller smiley
And
face.
select it again to hide the controls. To give you something to do, I've hidden a puppet somewhere in this scene, which we'll need in later tutorials. I've left some clues to help you find it. Before we search for the first clue, let's start by looking around. You'll notice that there are two imps in the scene tracking the movement of your motion controllers. If you can't see them, just make sure that you're in front of your PlayStation camera, then hold down the start button on either motion controller until the imps reappear. You can do this at any time to recalibrate your imps if they feel too close, too far away, or off-center. The primary imp is the one with a face. You control this imp with your do this at any time. Station camera, then hold down the start button on either motion controller until the imps reappear.
That's like the middle button? Oh no, start on the side. Okay.
You can do this at any time to recalibrate your imps.
Man, you
if
missed
they
one
feel too
sentence
close,
and like,
too
what?
far away, or off-center.
Sorry, folks. Sorry for 2 hours of tutorials, but man, this is going to be a long, bumpy road.
This imp with your dominant hand.
Got it.
You can set
your patience
handedness in your preferences, which you can find in the options menu.
Oh, cool.
Your secondary imp holds the assembly menu. You can bring it up by holding down the T button on your secondary controller.
Crazy. I
That's
kind
the
of know
one
what these
underneath
are.
That looks like a trigger. Try it now. You won't need it just yet, so go ahead and release the T button to hide it again. Your imps are used to move around the scene in 3D space. Use them to grab and pull yourself around. Simply reach out with your imp, then hold the move button on that controller to grab that point in space. We call this using the grab cam. Try grabbing a point in space. Using either controller, press and hold the move button, and just twist and tilt the controller a little bit.
I don't know what the move button is, yo.
Where you grab
Was that just the
space
middle
is
guy?
important,
Oh,
as that's
okay.
the point your view will rotate around. Here's a good habit to get into. Each time you grab with the grab cam,
and
twist
zoom
and
in,
tilt
zoom
the
out.
controller a
Yeah.
little bit to get a sense of where the imp has grabbed in 3D space. Now try grabbing with either move button and looking around you. Is there an orange cone around here?
That's an orange cone.
You found it. There's a blue cube around here somewhere
Just shapes.
too.
We're not grabbing. Okay, there's a blue
See
cube.
if you can find that.
I found it.
Now try looking upwards.
Oh, it's
to
actually
find
in
the
3D
pink
space. Look at
pyramid.
I'm trying to what?
That's the one. Okay, let's turn back towards the shapes floating on the island. Reach out with your imp, then hold the move button on that controller to grab that point in space. Then, while you hold the move button, pull that controller back towards you to pull yourself forward in the scene. You can do this with either controller, so you can alternate them to pull yourself along.
Yeah, that's a little tricky. How do I get, like...
Use the move buttons to grab cam towards those two shapes on that cloud, then push yourself back away from them.
Okay.
You can even move from side to side in a similar way.
I just want to
Be
look
careful
like I'm
not to
back
press both
down.
move buttons at the
Do
same
that.
time. That triggers another function, which I'll explain in a moment. If you do it by mistake, don't worry. Just use your primary X button to press the red button that appears by your secondary imp. When you're comfortable with moving and looking around with the grab cam, you're ready to move on to the next step. If you want to re-watch this step, you can. Hover your imp over the buttons on the video to see what they do. Use the skip buttons to move between tutorial steps. Or just rewind 10 seconds if you miss something. If it gets in your way, grab and move the video with your imp using the primary T button. You can minimize the video and play along with audio only.
Okay.
Or you can maximize it to watch in instructions view if you prefer. In instructions view, you can see more information about the steps. Once the current step is finished,
Sculpting isn't
press
much
the
easier
arrow
with move,
button
they
to
said. Oh,
move
okay.
on to the next one.
I still want to be ready for VR, too.
My first clue is hidden somewhere on this island. We should probably look around these objects and see if we can find it. But they're quite large and far away. It would be a lot easier if our imps could reach further into the scene. Luckily, it's easy to change the reach of our imps to suit the objects we're working with. Remember I
So now we
told
get the
you
corner
not to
there.
press both move buttons at the same time in the last step? Well, now's the time to do just that. Hold your imps so that their tips are either side of the shapes on the cloud.
Okay.
Then tap both move buttons at once. Don't hold them down this time. You'll see a circle with a number in it for a moment. That means your imp reach has changed. You'll notice that very little else will change.
Right. Okay. Shortcut, press that and that.
But
It's
now
okay,
your
so-
imps can easily reach the shapes on the cloud, as if they're at arm's length. That's why we call this maneuver changing your imp reach. Now that you can reach further in the scene, you can easily move around the shapes. Just grab cam onto the shapes and rotate your point of view around them. The point in space where you grab is the point you'll rotate around. So remember to wiggle the imp when you grab cam to check its position. Try that now and look for the clue. Once you've found it, move on to the next step.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know how to, like... Go back.
Move on to the next step.
Okay, once I'm rotated around there... Oh, okay.
Did you
Ready
find
for
that
the next
clue?
step.
It was on the back of one of those shapes.
Is this entertaining? I don't know.
Looks a bit
This is
like
it.
a
This is
rocket.
literally the first time I've ever...
I do love a cryptic message. Why don't you look around with the grab cam for any rocket-related goings-on? Don't forget to twist and tilt your view a little each time you grab.
Yeah, there's like a rocket thing going on over here.
Ah, look over there, on that island in the distance. Those shapes look a lot like the ones in the clue. That's a long way away. Try changing your imp reach to get us there more
Oh, dude, I'm way
easily.
ahead of you, man.
Hold your imp's tips either side of the target, then tap both move buttons. Now use your extended reach to grab that island and pull yourself over to it. Simple.
Can I move this now?
Now that you're next to it, you'll need to adjust your imp reach again so you can interact with these objects more easily. Remember, always set your imp reach to match whatever you're working on. With your imps on either side of an object, tap both move buttons. If there isn't an object where you need one, just find something at a similar distance and set your imp reach using that. If you get in a kerfuffle, just select the one-to-one imp reach button near the secondary imp, using X on the primary controller. This will reset your imp reach back to the default scale. And remember, you can recalibrate your imps at any time. Just press and hold either start button for a couple of seconds. Once you reach the island, make sure you're looking directly at the cylinder and the cone at a sensible distance. When you're ready, move on to the next step. Think back to the first clue. The cone was on top of the cylinder, right? But how can you move them? Well, in edit mode, you interact with
It's funny, like there's some
everything
things that
using
like
the
I totally get
primary
right
imp,
away, and then
the
other
very
things
tip of your
like
imp's pointy
I'm
part.
waiting for this thing to be
See how
constructed.
there's an icon in
This
a
one-to-one
circle there?
thing, I'm not.
That shows you
I don't
what
understand.
tool the imp is
100%. I
using.
gotta be honest.
Right now, it's the arrows icon, which means the imp is using the move tool. That's the
Yeah, we're not gonna be
default
building
tool in
anything
edit
tonight on the
mode,
group stream. We're just gonna be playing
because editing
stuff.
a scene means moving things around a lot. Let's see the primary imp in action. First, grab the cone. Hover over it with your imp, then press and hold the primary T button. That's the trigger button underneath the controller.
Yep.
Now your imp has grabbed it, simply move the cone by moving the controller. Try to put it on top of the cylinder, just like in the clue. It's important to remember that grabbing with the T button is different to using the grab cam.
Yep.
When you're using the T button, you can grab anything, no matter how far away you are, as long as the tip of your imp is hovering over it.
And we've established it as something that can be picked up.
You don't have to be able to physically reach it with your imp the way you do with the grab cam. Get it roughly into place, and I'll show you how to refine it later.
Ooh, we're gonna refine it, folks.
Once you're done, you're ready for the next step.
Yay!
Now, that looks pretty good, at least from this angle. Creating scenes in three-dimensional space means that you should always look at your creations from different angles.
Yep.
The easiest way to do that is with the grab cam. Just like before, grab with either move button and rotate your point of view. Try it out on the cone. Don't forget to set your imp reach. Place the imp on a point in 3D space that you want to rotate around, then press and hold the move button on that controller. Now rotate the controller to move your point of view around the cone. Your wrist will only bend so far, so let go of the move button and grab and turn again if you need to. Now that you can get a proper look at it, check that the cone is on straight. Unlike mine. When you're at the right angle, use the primary T button to grab the cone and make any adjustments you need. Don't forget to recalibrate your imps if you need to. Here's a little secret called nudge. If you don't press T all the way down, but just hold it lightly, you can move the cone slowly, giving you finer control.
Oh, you don't press T all the way down. Let's go.
Try holding the T button lightly. Your imp will go stretchy, and you'll be able to move the cone with more control. Once you're happy the cone is straight, you can move on to the next step.
Cool. I like that that was its own step. That can be kind of complicated.
Hey, look at that. Another clue. It's a molecule. I know because I put it there. Just play along with me. Why don't you look around with the grab cam and see if you can find another molecule? There's one, over there by that island.
Oh.
You're hot on the trail. We could change our imp reach and pull ourselves there with the grab cam. But there's another way to zip around scenes without changing your imp reach. It uses the move button, like the grab cam, but you'll also need to hold the secondary triangle button.
Ooh.
You see, the secondary triangle button is a very special button. You know the way that, on a computer keyboard, holding down Shift changes what some keys do?
Uh-huh.
In Dreams, holding down the secondary triangle button changes what the other buttons do. Maybe it's best if I show you.
It's tricky they call it the secondary triangle button. Is there another triangle button I'm missing?
Hover your primary imp over it to highlight it. Now hold the secondary triangle button and then tap the primary move button, which is the grab cam button. You don't have to hold it. Whoa! Fast, huh? Let's try it out again on the rocket you built earlier.
Wait, no. I messed up.
Hover over the rocket with your primary imp. Hold the secondary triangle button.
Press the wrong button?
Then press the primary move button to zoom right on over
without
changing your imp reach.
Pressed it on the wrong controller. He said, whoa, and I was like, I know I deleted it. Oh, wait, was that not what I was supposed to do? I get it now.
Look around this island and see if you can find my next clue. Set your imp reach to one of the objects and use the grab cam to look around the island. Remember to choose your point of rotation carefully with your imp when you're using the grab cam. Once you've found the clue, you can move on to the next step.
There it is. I found the clue, and if I want to go over there, to that object. Okay, cool. I get it now. Sorry, I deleted the thing.
Did you find the last clue?
I did.
It was on the back of the orange cube. What on earth could it mean? If I had eyes, I would wink at you right now. I can't see any other green trash cans around. Unless, of course, the trash can is the icon for the delete tool. I'm so devious. That must mean you need to delete the orange cube.
Okay.
You can
that I know how to do.
anything in edit mode using the primary triangle button. Just hover your primary imp over the cube.
Yeah, I think Kyle Bossman would be. If I know Kyle, it's way too tempting for him not to talk about Mark Cerny talking about the PS5
These
today.
tools are powerful. Delete the orange sphere next.
Way ahead of you, buddy.
If you change your mind or delete the wrong thing, you can undo. Just tilt or twist your primary controller to the left and press its square button. And if you want to redo, just tilt or twist it to the right.
Haha, look at that.
Okay. Square button.
Yep. Cool.
You can undo and redo pretty much anything. not just deletions. Oh,
Yeah,
look,
this thing's back.
there was
yeah.
a clue hidden in the cube. An arrow.
Redo.
Perhaps there's another one like it nearby. Look around with the grab cam and see if you can spot it. Once you've found it, you can move on to the next step.
Is it above me? Is that why the arrow's pointing up there? Ah, there it is. Ah, there you are. There's a little
That was my
matter I
final
forgot to
clue
mention.
telling you where to go. The island right above us.
Whee!
I know you're an expert in moving around horizontally, but let's practice moving vertically.
Yeah.
Look up at the island above and set your imp reach to it. Use the grab cam. Press the move button alternately on each controller and pull to climb up and see what's on that island. Then continue to the next step.
Let's go over to him. There we go. There we go.
Right. Here's the puppet.
It's tricky because it's like I'm trying to get used to moving around in the space based on what they're telling me to do, whereas
She looks like a cone.
I think I'll get cozier
We need
with
to
the
help
controls
Connie
when I'm
walk
actually
through
like,
the doors
I
to
want to
complete
go
this
over there and not
tutorial.
doing it because he's telling
To
me to.
do that, we're gonna have to switch over to play mode.
Play mode, please.
Remember, right now you're in edit mode.
Yep.
This is where you create and edit your
You can
scenes.
see the little puzzle in the corner. Got it.
In play mode, you can experience the scene just like a player would if they found it in the Dreamiverse. You can't make any changes in play mode, but you can take control of characters and try out what you've made. To switch over to play mode, open the options menu by pressing the start button on either controller. Hover over the controller icon with your primary imp, then press X to select it. To control a puppet in play mode, you first need to possess it with your primary imp.
And
Hover
then
over
use your
Connie,
controller.
then press your primary T button. She's full of beans, isn't she? I picked her just for you. Now that you've possessed Connie, hold the secondary T button to make her walk.
The secondary
While she's
T
walking,
button.
you can tilt the secondary controller to steer.
Oh, okay.
You can also rotate the camera view around Connie by holding the primary move
Obviously the
button and
the-
tilting the controller.
The main PS4 controller is best, but I guess
Practice
yeah, this
walking
works
her
in a pinch.
around, then take her to the door.
I can't because.
Oh.
Yeah, you knew that was gonna happen.
Looks like the door's too high. There's more to Connie than meets the eye, though. She might be able to reach it if you make her jump by pressing the primary X button. Oops. I remember now. I always forget to put the steps in. Better head back into edit mode. To switch back to edit mode, just press start again and then select the pencil icon. When you're back in edit mode, head to the final step.
Oh,
Did you see those stairs on the island below us? Those might come in handy now, so let me show you a new move to help us retrieve them. There's a quick way to move and change your imp reach at the same time. Let's give it a try.
okay.
Move both imps apart, then hold both of the move buttons. While still holding both move buttons, move the imps together like you're closing some curtains. This maneuver will move you away from the target whilst extending your imp reach. You'll notice a circle and a number while you're zooming. These show you what your imp reach is.
One more time. Sorry, folks.
Move both imps apart, then hold both of the move buttons.
Controllers, right?
While still holding both move buttons, move the
I
imps
thought I did
together like
this
you're
already.
closing
Oh,
some
weird, okay.
curtains. This maneuver will move you away from the target whilst extending your imp reach.
Okay.
You'll notice a circle and a number while you're zooming.
Right.
These show you what your imp reach is. Keep zooming out until you can see both islands, the one above and the one below. If you've deleted the stairs, you can undo by tilting or twisting the primary
Understandable.
controller to the left and pressing the primary square button. Just keep pressing the square button until the stairs come back. Okay, now set your imp reach by tapping both move buttons, with your imp tips on each side of the stairs. Then grab the stairs with your primary T button. And, without letting go, move the stairs roughly into position in front of the door. When they're roughly in position, let go of the T button. You can tidy it up in a moment.
Oh, I will. We're zooming into the stairs now?
Now zoom in on the stairs.
Yeah.
Position your imps on either side of them, then hold both move buttons and move the controllers apart. When you're zoomed in, let go of the move buttons and adjust the position of the stairs for Connie. If you need to recalibrate after all that zooming about, just hold either start button until the imps snap back to the center of the screen. There, that should do it. It's back to play mode now. Remember, press start, then select the controller icon with your primary imp. You'll be switching back and forth between edit and play mode a lot when you're creating your own scenes. It's a great way to test out your scenes, making sure they look and work just how you want them to. Okay, I think we can get Connie to the next lesson now. All we need to do is walk her through the door. Possess Connie with the primary T button, then...
Sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead there, but, you know, I got it. I got it. Okay. Oh, continue. How are we doing on time? 40 minutes in already. Start Dreaming Motion Controllers Part 1 of... I thought that only said 14. Okay. Continue to tutorials.
Want to carry on with the fundamentals? You can also press the circle
check
button
one
on
on
your
there 'cause I've done
primary
it.
motion
Okay.
controller to see other topics.
Now you've got the hang of moving things around in edit mode, it's time to master manipulating objects. Just as well, because Connie's friend Cuthbert fell asleep in the Dreamiverse and got stranded.
Oh no!
Yes, he's a cube with legs. Connie didn't choose her friends. I did. So, we need to fix these platforms if she's going to reach the flag and get to Cuthbert.
Okay.
Before we start, we might need to recalibrate the imps so they're in a comfortable position by holding either start button. It's easier to tell whether you need to recalibrate if you open the assembly menu. To do that, hold the secondary T button. If the menu's in an awkward position or is hard to see, you probably need to recalibrate. It's a good habit to do this every now and then, to keep your imps in check. Before we fix the platforms, let's switch to play mode to see how a player would experience this scene.
Okay.
You'll always need to test things out in play mode while dream shaping, so it's a good habit to get into. Press the start button on either controller to open the options menu. Then select play mode with the primary X.
It's always that good feeling when you're slightly ahead of a tutorial. You're like, okay, I've caught up.
Once you're in play mode, possess Connie with the primary T button.
Connie
It's
and I are
easy
ready to
to
go.
remember which is the primary controller and which is the secondary. Your primary controller's imp has a face, while your secondary doesn't.
He's freaking out in the background. That's great.
When you're possessing
He's very upset.
Connie,
I'm sorry, buddy.
hold the secondary
I'm coming
T
over.
button to run forwards. It's pressure sensitive, so pressing it lightly will move Connie more slowly. While she's moving, point or tilt the secondary motion controller left or right to steer her. You can move the camera around Connie by tilting the primary controller whilst holding its move button.
That's what I don't know. Wait, one more time. Ah!
Now, start by jumping over to the first platform
I don't know how to
using
move
the
the camera.
primary X button. Oh dear. Looks like it's too far for Connie. Move that first platform closer. To do that, head back into edit mode. Open the options
just hold down
menu
the move
and
buttons.
select the button with
This
the
guy, there you go,
pencil
let's take a look
icon.
at the camera, okay.
Once you're in edit mode, move on to the next step.
Okay. I'm ready to help Connie go to her friend.
We have to do something about these platforms if Connie's gonna reach the other side. First, let's get a good look at them. Position your imps on either side of the first platform, then set your imp reach by tapping both move buttons at the same time. Then use the grab cam to position your view side on to Connie and the platform.
There we go.
See the dotted outlines? That's where the platforms should be. So let's put them in place with the move tool. The imp has this equipped by default. To move things, hover the tip of your imp over them and press and hold the primary T button. Move
ready.
it to where you want it.
I will be
and
ahead
release
until
the
I am
T
not.
button. Try it now with that first movable platform. Grab it with the primary T button. Line it up with the outlines by moving the controller.
I think I
then
did this.
Release the T button.
Hey, little guy.
You can get a slower, more precise movement
He's so
if you
happy.
hold the T button softly. And if you need to try again, just undo your action by tilting the primary controller to the left and pressing its square button.
Love that.
You may have noticed that objects move more freely here in edit mode than in the home space.
Yeah.
That's because their
Oh, we're gonna have to
auto guide
rotate
gadgets
this
are
guy.
disabled by default in the guides menu. I'll explain more about this in another tutorial, but for now, you don't need to worry about it.
Really like the
It just
controller
means you
movement with the
have more
camera.
freedom
Sorry to
to dream
jostle it around
shape.
like that, folks. But
When
that
the
it's like
platform
it
is
is
in the
really
right
intuitive
spot,
the more and more you use
You're
it.
ready for the next step.
I'm ready. How do I tilt?
Now that the first platform's in position,
Rotate.
let's test it out. Open
Oh, okay.
the options menu and select play mode with the primary X button. Connie's on the starting platform, ready for another try. Take control of her with the primary T button and see if
Yay.
she can jump over the gap now. Hope she made it
Connie.
this time. If not, you can always go back and edit things again. In fact, let's try doing that now and see what happens.
Okay.
Select Edit Mode from the Options menu. Look at that. Connie isn't in her starting place anymore. That's because time passes when you're in play mode. And the scene doesn't rewind automatically when you return to Edit Mode.
Got it.
Instead, things will be frozen in the state you left them when you were playing.
Unlike Super Mario Maker.
Always keep this in mind when switching modes.
I will.
But you can easily rewind things. Just open the assembly menu by holding the secondary T button, then select the rewind button with your primary imp.
Assembly menu holding the secondary T button. Oh.
Make sure you can see the secondary imp as the menu is attached to it.
Assembly
When you
what?
press the rewind button, everything that changed in play mode
rewind,
will
there we go.
rewind back to the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
Doing this won't reset any changes you made in edit mode. See? Connie is back to her starting position, but the platform remains where you left it.
Okay.
Try to get into the habit
Thanks for
of
the subs,
rewinding
everybody.
time after you play
That's to
scenes.
Impact, 17 months. Thank you.
That way, you'll avoid any problems.
Okay.
There are times when it's useful to leave things as they are after playing, but when in doubt, rewind. Okay, if your platform's in the right place and you've had a successful test run with Connie, you can move on to the next step.
I'm so ready.
Let's sort out the next platform now. It's the middle one that's lying on its side.
I know. I gotta
Before you
rotate
can
it.
match it up with the outline, you'll
I
need to
know.
stand it upright. So you'll have to rotate it first.
That's what I
You
said.
can rotate objects in edit mode by grabbing them with the primary T button and rotating
Oh,
the
I just do
controller.
it?
Give
Oh,
it a
just
go now.
duh. There you
Hover
go.
your
Boom.
primary imp over the fallen platform, then press and hold the primary T button. Now you can rotate it by twisting your controller.
I
You
did
don't have
it!
to turn it all the way in one go.
I did
Simply
it!
let go of the platform and grab it again once you've turned it as far as your wrist will comfortably allow. Bear in mind that your imp's tip is at the center point of the rotation, so you can grab the
make this one
platform
bigger.
at different points and see how it affects
here.
the rotation.
Just tell me how to do it now. Just tell me!
All that rotating has made the platform a bit wonky.
What if I can just
So
figure it
let's
out right
undo
now?
all that by
Do I
tilting
dare?
the primary controller left and pressing its square
Select it.
button.
I'm too scared.
Grab and hold the primary T button with your imp over the platform and try to rotate it into a vertical position. Once you have it more or less upright, you can let go of the T button. Then grab it again, but just lightly press the T button so you can nudge it precisely into the matching outline.
I'm scared to skip. I know I can skip. I'm terrified,
That's
honestly. I'm
quite
gonna
a
miss
lot of
some
buttons to
because there's a
remember,
lot
isn't
of
it?
like camera
Well, if you ever forget
tricks
what
that
to
they
press,
teach you, like
just
in
look at the
between actually
prompts
like the
around
obvious
your
stuff.
imp. Or select the mode icon in the top left of the screen with your primary X button. They'll show you what buttons you can use in any situation.
Oh, for real?
Select the mode icon again to hide the
Okay, well, I
list if
can't
it
see that
gets in
'cause
the
the camera's
way.
there. Go over there.
When you do a lot of rotating
Oh,
and
we're
moving,
there.
it's a good idea to check whether your imps need recalibrating. If they do, hold either start button till they sort themselves out. Practice grabbing and rotating things with the primary T button until you're comfortable. Then move on to the next step.
Meh.
Now that you know how to rotate objects, here's a useful tip. When you rotate something by hand, like this platform, it might end up a little wonky.
It might.
But there's a really simple way of fixing that. You can realign an object you're grabbing by tapping the primary triangle button. This will snap the angle of whatever shape you're grabbing to the nearest right angle on the grid. Make sure you're grabbing an object before you press the button though, or
thank you.
you might
Okay.
end up deleting it. If you do delete something by accident, remember you can undo it.
Cool.
Just tilt the primary controller to
Yeah,
the
I know. I
left
deleted it,
and
but then I
press its
remembered the
square
thing.
button. Once you're happy with the position and alignment of the middle platform, you should switch over to play mode and test it out.
Oh, I trust
So,
myself, but
select
okay.
the controller icon in the options menu
All right.
and possess Connie to see how far she can get.
Do it.
You're
Yeah.
almost there now. Just switch back to edit mode and fix that final platform. Remember to rewind time. Hold the secondary
yeah.
T button to open the assembly menu and select rewind with the primary X button.
Move over
Now we
there
can
and
go
then-
on to the next step.
Mhm. Move back this way. Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be so much fun. Like, you know, actually
Now,
making
the only
stuff.
thing separating Connie from Cuthbert is the final platform. Oh, it looks a
Da-na-na-na.
bit small compared to
The
the
final
others.
platform.
I'm not sure Connie will be able to use it, no matter how much you rotate it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Let's
you know,
learn how
probably.
to make objects bigger, or as we dream shapers say, scale them up.
Ready.
To scale objects up or down, hold the secondary circle button and twist that controller.
Secondary
It's a
circle
bit
button.
like turning a doorknob. Twisting the controller one way scales the object up, and twisting it the other way scales it down. Try hovering your primary imp over the third platform, then hold the secondary circle button and twist the secondary controller to make it bigger.
The secondary circle button?
The square on the floor tells you what size the platform's base needs to
Oh,
be.
okay.
It's also a good idea to get the top of the platform level with all the others. Remember from earlier that the primary imp was the center point of a rotation? Well, here its position determines
Yeah,
where
boom.
the object scales from. Try hovering over the platform in different places and see how that affects the scaling. If it gets too tall, you can just twist the controller the other way to shrink it.
Yeah, looks about right.
Now that you know how to move, rotate, and scale things, you should be able to get the final platform into its matching
How many
frame
percent can you
at
go?
the right height.
Yeah, that's a good question.
You can also use the secondary circle button and twist method to scale objects while you're grabbing them. Okay, when everything is where it should be, go into play mode and see if Connie can reach the flag.
Come on, Connie.
Once Connie reaches the flag, head into edit mode again. Don't forget to rewind time. Hold the secondary T button to open the menu and select the rewind button. Let's go on to the next step. Hurrah! Okay. Connie and Cuthbert have been reunited. But now they need to find a way out before Cuthbert falls asleep again.
Oh, Cuthbert.
So let's learn how to find a door.
A little help, Cuthbert, please.
Hold the secondary T button to open the assembly menu. The menu disappears when you let go of the T button. This makes sure it doesn't get in the way. So if you can't see it, just hold the secondary T button to open it. Here you'll find all the assembly tools, modes, and gadgets. If you ever wonder what a button does, just hover over it for a few seconds to see more info. This menu is also where the search button lives. It's the one with the magnifying glass. Select it with your primary X button now.
Okay.
The search button takes you to the Dreamiverse, where you'll find all the things created by dreamers from around the world.
Not intimidating at all.
For this tutorial, I've selected a collection of elements that you can use in this scene. Let's see if we can find a door in the Start Dreaming collection. Select the collection with your primary X button.
Door.
Have a look around. What elements do we have here
found
in
the door.
collection? Ah, there. A door. Select it with your primary X button now. Now your primary imp has a copy of the element to stamp into the scene. To scale it, twist the secondary controller while holding its circle button. To rotate it, twist and tilt the primary controller.
How do I put it in X?
See the outline at the top of the final platform? That's where the door needs to go. Use the primary T button to stamp it into place. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can adjust it after you've stamped it down.
I really like it that you can just hold something down and just move it really gently.
It's a very special one. Because of the animation and logic built into it, it will magically open when Connie goes near it.
Okay, cool.
Notice how your imp still has a door attached even after you've stamped it down? That's what happens with elements from the Dreamiverse. That way, you can place as many as you need in a scene. We only need one door in this one though, so you can remove the door element from your imp by pressing the primary circle button. The circle button removes whatever tool, gadget, or element your imp has equipped, replacing it with the move tool. Okay, I think we're done here. Nice work completing the scene. It doesn't mean you have to stop though. If you're feeling creative, why not come up with different ways for Connie to get across the platforms, using more elements from the collection?
Yeah, no time.
Just delete the old platforms with the primary triangle button, and build your own. Remember to test your creations in play mode to make sure they work, and rewind time when you return to edit mode. All that's left now is to switch to play mode and walk Connie straight through the door to end.
I think I can.
Tutorial.
Oops, I'm gonna possess her first. Come on, Connie. I mean, honestly, have you ever been prouder of me? All right. Halfway through, folks. Woo! Just getting started, yeah.
Now you know how to grab, rotate, and scale objects. It's time I showed you how to clone things.
Clones!
Cuthbert has managed to get himself stuck again.
I think this is a trend with
Luckily,
Cuthbert.
I've set up this scene so that we can use the clone tool to rescue him.
Okay, okay.
With this tool, you can make exact copies of anything in the scene. This makes it one of the most useful tools in a Dream Shaper's toolbox.
We're going to be cloning this, aren't we?
You'll also get a chance to practice with all the other tools that you've learned so far. If we get Connie off this platform, maybe she'll help us out. Let's use the clone tool on this one small block to create a bridge.
Yep.
Remember how we used the secondary triangle button to modify how the grab cam works? Well, it can also change how the grab button works. Hover over the floating platform with your primary imp and hold the secondary triangle button.
The secondary
now grab the
triangle
block
button.
with the primary T button. Remember that if you press it gently, you
wait.
can move the block more slowly. And now you have another block. That's because grabbing something while holding the secondary triangle button creates a clone of that object.
There we go.
Once you've created the clone, you can release the secondary triangle button, but don't let go of the primary T button until you're ready to place it in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
When you've found the right spot, release the primary T button to put it down. You can treat a cloned object just like you would any other element. You can move it with the Move tool and rotate it by twisting, tilting, and turning the controller. Bam. You can also scale it up and down by holding the secondary circle button and twisting.
Good enough, I guess.
Of course, anything you do to the block can be undone. Just press the primary square button while tilting the controller to the left. You can even clone the cloned block. Let's do that next. Hover your primary imp over the block. Hold the secondary triangle button, then press and hold the primary T button and move the clone away. You can use the clone tool to build a bridge between the first two platforms. Or you can create floating blocks for Connie to jump on. All that matters is that she can get to the next platform, so make sure you test your work in play mode.
I mean, okay.
When Connie can get across, go back to edit mode. Rewind time and move on to the next step.
Haha. Wait. Next one. Okay.
Getting Connie to that third platform looks easy enough. There's half a bridge between them, so we can just
you're gonna
clone
clone
this
it, we're gonna
block
rotate
to
it,
finish
okay.
it off. Okay, hold the secondary triangle button and grab the block using the primary T button to clone it. Let go of the triangle button to stop cloning, then place the clone by releasing the T button to complete the bridge. That doesn't look quite right. Might need to try.
I mean, it works. Who cares, man?
Why don't we rotate the clone?
She can get across, can't she?
And turning it sideways. Well,
okay, I thought you were gonna
it's
teach me like
better,
a quick way to do
but
that.
now they
whatever.
don't match. We should probably undo everything. Tilt or twist the primary controller to the left and press its square button. This time, we'll make the arches match up by flipping
the clone. That's where I thought we were
Here's how
going.
you flip objects.
Okay.
First, hover over the arch and hold the secondary triangle button.
Okay.
Then grab the arch with the primary T button to create a clone.
Oh, wait, we're going all the way back.
Remember, release the triangle button once you've made the clone. You have to release it or the next part won't work.
I've released it.
Here comes the cool bit. While still holding the arch, hold the secondary square button and some arrows will appear around the secondary imp.
Yeah.
Then simply flick the secondary motion controller to the left. That's all there is to it. Now you try. Hold the secondary triangle button and grab the arch using the primary T button to clone it. Release the triangle button. Finally, flip the arch horizontally by holding the secondary square button and flicking the controller to the left.
Okay, cool.
And don't forget, you can realign the clone
Actually
while
lines
you're
up pretty
holding
well.
it. Just press the
I
primary
don't hate
triangle
that.
button.
Oh, well, it's actually none on the side here, actually.
Now let's try something else. Grab the arch,
It works.
hold the secondary square button, and flick the secondary controller up or down. Nice! The arch is flipped vertically instead. We should probably line it up with the first arch now, and release the primary T button to place it down. Ah! We probably should have flipped it back first. No problem. Just grab it with the primary T button. Then hold the secondary square button and flick the secondary controller vertically.
Oh, this makes sense. So cloning and flipping. Triangle for
Time
cloning,
to switch over
square
to play
for flipping.
mode
Got it.
and see how things are working. If Connie
Okay.
can get across
Probably
the
can.
bridge to the
I believe in you.
platform, you're ready to move
You
on.
can do it.
But first return to edit mode and rewind time.
Nope. Wait a minute. Oh, just go back to. And then those things pop up. Okay. Then rewind and then.
Okay, we've almost made it to the door. Ah, but she needs to go across and up now.
Yeah.
Good thing you already know how to make clones because we're gonna need them.
Great.
So hold the secondary triangle button and grab the block with the primary T button to clone it. Now place that clone a little higher than the original and... You know what? There's a better way, so let's undo that. Just press the primary square button while tilting the controller to the left. We're going to try a new technique called repeat cloning.
Oh, that's
I bet
right.
you can
Yeah, I've
already
seen
guess
this.
what it does. That's right. It lets you make
This is like the first thing I think I ever saw them
do.
do in Dreams ever.
Let's give it a go.
Okay.
Hover over the block again. Hold the secondary triangle button and gently grab it with the primary T button. Release the triangle button once you've made the clone. And move the block up and along. Don't put it down yet though. This is where you become a cloning expert. Without letting go of the first clone, press the primary triangle button to create a second one. And, you guessed it, another press will create a third one. In fact, you can just keep pressing the primary triangle button to create more and more clones in a sequence. And if you make too many, no problem. Just press the primary square button to remove any clones you don't want. As you can see, all the clones are spaced evenly, and you can move the whole sequence by simply moving the clone that's on your imp.
Cool.
If you move the clone up, you can create a staircase. And as always, put it down by releasing the primary T button. Once the clones are in place, they won't be in a sequence anymore. You'll have to edit each block individually. See the dotted line around them? That's a selection. When you put repeat clones down, they're always selected automatically.
Cool.
That means you can move them as a group. If you only want to move one block, you can deselect the group by pressing the primary circle button. If you want to find out more, there's a whole tutorial
I think I
on
just did. There we
selecting
go. Yeah,
and
I can move
grouping
it.
objects.
Okay.
Move on to the next step when you're ready.
So ready. Yes. Wait, whoa. Yes.
Let's get back to the staircase. It's looking pretty good, but I have one more thing to show you before you move on. Let's get rid of all the clones we've made. Tilt the primary controller left and press its square button a few times.
Okay.
You'll notice all the repeated clones are undone together.
Yeah.
Now hover over the first block. Hold the secondary triangle button and grab the block to create a new clone.
Okay.
Remember to release the triangle button once you've made the clone. Otherwise the next bit won't work.
Right.
This time, move the block where you want the last step of the staircase to be. There, right in front of the door. Don't let go of the primary T button yet though.
Okay.
Instead, press the primary square button. And look at that. You've created a sequence of clones between your imp and the original block. You can keep pressing the square button to create more steps, or the triangle button to remove them. Once you're happy with your staircase, let go of the primary T button to place it in the scene. You can create incredible shapes with repeat cloning, so feel free to experiment. How you position the first clone will affect all the repeated clones. Rotating the clones, for example, will let you build ramps and spirals.
I thought that said ramps and
And
squirrels
if
for
you
a
scale
second.
the
I was like,
clone by holding the
squirrels?
secondary circle button while twisting the controller, you can create a sequence that increases in size. So try different approaches and see what you can come up with. If the path is clear for Connie, switch over to play mode to test the scene. Get Connie to the final platform, then...
One more time, sorry, wait.
And if you scale the clone by holding the secondary circle button while twisting the controller,
Oh, okay.
you can create a sequence that increases in size. So try
Fun.
different approaches and see what you can come up with. If the path is clear for Connie, switch over to play mode to test the scene. Get Connie to the final platform, then get her to open the door for Cuthbert.
Cuthbert is
If you feel like you've mastered
stoked.
cloning and flipping, walk Connie through the door to complete the tutorial.
Woo! How we doing, folks? All right. All right, organizing. Here we go. Least
Welcome
favorite
to
part
part
of any
4
artist's
of our
work.
Start Dreaming tutorials. This time around, I'll show you how to select and group your creations and how to scope in and out of groups. Ah, I see Cuthbert has managed to get himself in a pickle again.
You did that to Cuthbert, you
Connie,
monster!
How do you put up with him? What a spanner. But with Connie's help,
We didn't say
we
that.
can
Wait, what?
rescue him.
You didn't say
Luckily,
tool.
how do you put up with him? What a spanner. But with Connie's help,
What, a sparrow?
we
Spanner?
can rescue him. Luckily, someone left behind a block for us to use.
Reminds me of Han Solo. I think
Remember
Han Solo
how to
asks for a
repeat
hydro
clone
spanner.
blocks to
You got the
create a
hydro
bridge?
spanner?
Well, let's do that again. Move your view side on to the block and the gap. Hold the secondary triangle button, then gently grab the block using the primary T button. Move it by moving the controller to create a clone.
Okay, we do clone, and then we do this guy.
Just like last
Then
time,
we add
let go of the
clones.
triangle button while still holding the T button. Then press the primary square or triangle buttons to make more clones.
Bam.
If you rotate the first block a little before you clone it, you can make an arch. Use the primary T button to angle the first block up slightly. Then make the clone angle down. Press the primary square button to repeat clone, and the clones will line up to make an arch. Amazing, right? Let's quickly test that in play mode. Looks great. Switch back to edit mode, rewind time, and go to the next step of the tutorial.
Fun. Okay. Oops, wrong button. Execute
Now,
order
you probably
66.
noticed that all the blocks, the original as well as its clones, were selected automatically after cloning. You can tell when things are selected because they have an animated
I
dash
can tell.
outline.
Yep.
But after we switched between play and edit modes, everything was deselected.
Or if I hit the
So
circle
let's
button right like
select
this.
them
bro.
again.
Okay.
All you have to do is hover your imp over one of the blocks and press the primary X button. There's the outline again. Now
Yep.
do the same to the rest until the whole bridge is selected.
Oh, okay.
Can you see how each block has its own outline, with a double line where they meet? That's because they're still individual elements.
Okay.
You can deselect them one at a time with the primary X button, but it's much quicker if you deselect them all at once with the primary circle button. Give it a try. There's
Or I can
also a
just
faster
hold the
way of
X button,
selecting
actually. That's kinda
multiple
cool.
objects.
Is
Just
that what you're gonna
select
teach
one
me
as
right now?
before, but this time keep the primary X button held down. Now move your imp to select the others. Better than selecting one
knows
at a
it.
time, right?
It is.
So much faster.
And intuitive.
The great thing about having multiple objects selected is that you can manipulate them as if they were one object. For example, if all the blocks are selected, you can clone the bridge sideways to create a double bridge.
Double bridge? I totally can.
Plenty of room for Connie to cross it without falling off the edge. Try it in play mode.
Double bridge.
Once Connie is across the gap, go back to edit mode and move on to the next step.
Double bridge. Connie's got the double bridge. Okay.
You know, this bridge would be really useful to help Connie cross to the next platform. Use the primary X button to select again. If we're going to use this bridge a lot, we can make it into a group. That
Cool.
way, it will behave like a single element and you won't have to keep selecting all the blocks.
Smart.
Have you noticed the menu on your secondary imp? That's the context menu. The options it gives you will depend on the situation you're in. In this case, all the buttons relate to selected
this one?
objects.
Is it this one?
Look for the plus sign. That's the icon for the group button. The number next to it tells you how many objects you've selected.
Cool.
You can use this button now to turn all of those blocks into a group. There we go.
Can I undo that?
The bridge is now a single element.
Scope in. Oh
You
my
can
goodness.
tell because it has one outline around it instead of one around each block. And if you look over at the context menu,
Oops.
you'll see the group button now says ungroup. Use it if you want to break a group up.
Oh, neat.
But we still need it to help Connie. So let's clone this bridge and place it between the second and third platforms. Just like before, hold the secondary triangle button and grab the bridge
Right.
using the primary T button to clone it.
Oh, but it's not big
As
enough.
always, remember to let go of the triangle button afterwards.
We will have to scale it with this button.
Ah, we don't need to test the bridge to see that it's not going to get Connie to the third platform.
Nah, I
But
forgot.
don't worry,
It's bigger.
we'll fix that in the next step when you're ready to move
I'm
on.
so ready to move on. But I think you've already taught me this. I just forgot. Is it the circle button?
Our bridge needs a bit of work if it's going to reach the next platform. This is the perfect opportunity to learn a new technique, scoping in.
Scoping in.
Scoping in means you can jump into a group and edit the contents individually without having to ungroup it first.
Whoa.
And since you can only edit things inside the group, you don't have to worry about messing up anything outside it. Let's give it a try now. Select the bridge with the primary X button, if it isn't already. Then find the Scope In button in the context menu. Hold up your secondary imp and press the secondary T button if you can't see the menu. Notice that it's showing you a shortcut for it, the secondary triangle button and the primary.
Whoa. Had everything except what it is you're scoped into a sculpture group of paintings so you can bring it all back and see
X
this.
button.
Okay.
So hover over the bridge group, hold the secondary triangle button and the primary X button, and now you're scoped in. We can now edit all the parts as if it wasn't a group. If you want to really focus on just the group, you can hide everything else in the scene. Just use the Hide Everything Else button in the context
Crazy.
menu.
Okay.
The icon looks like a closed eye. There's also a Scope Out button in the context menu.
Okay.
This is how you exit groups.
Scope
Try
out.
scoping out now. Select the Scope Out button with the primary X button, or use the shortcut. Hold the secondary triangle button and press the primary circle button. That's it. Now scope back in again so we can fix the bridge. Just hover over it, hold the secondary triangle button, and press the primary X button. I think what Connie needs to reach the next platform is a staircase. So use the move and clone tools to create a new one. Once you've built the staircase, test it out in play mode to make sure Connie can make it across. When you're happy with it, switch back to edit mode, rewind time, and move on to the final step of this tutorial.
More stairs. That's probably good enough. Cool. Scope out. And then... play. You. Go. It's a little bendy, but I like it. Not enough stairs, but it's fine. You. Right. Rewind. Next step.
Is your
I'm very
staircase
focused on this.
working?
Sorry if I'm not reading chat a lot.
Fantastic.
Very focused.
Now Connie just needs a bit more help to save poor old Cuthbert from his predicament. Luckily, you can clone your staircase group to reach the final platform. Use the clone shortcut, secondary triangle button and primary T button to copy the staircase group to the last platform. Don't forget to let go of the secondary triangle button once the clone has been created. That's how useful groups are. If you select the group, you'll see a button in the context menu that saves the group as a new element. Saving a group as a new element means you can use it in other scenes or share it in the Dreamiverse. You can't do that in tutorials, but you can everywhere else. Now that you've mastered selecting and grouping, I'll leave you with a thought to ponder.
One more time, sorry.
Context menu that saves the group as a new element. Saving
Select
a
the
group as a new element means you can use it in other scenes or share it in the Dreamiverse. You can't do that in tutorials, but you can everywhere else.
Okay. I just didn't know where that was, sorry.
Now that you've mastered selecting and grouping, I'll leave you with a thought to ponder. You can also make a group inside a group.
What?
With that, I'll let you
Groupception?
Once you're happy that you've mastered selecting, grouping and scoping, you have just one thing left to do. Go into play mode and
I
take
thought
Connie
you'd never
and
ask.
Cuthbert to the exit.
I have to jump up these stairs, but it's fine. I didn't make enough stairs. Sorry, Connie. Yeah! Woo! Will all of my tutorial progress be canceled when the game goes to the final version? I don't know. Imp quest completed. Use reward, return to home space. Yeah. There's got to be more tutorials than that, though, right? Get in there. Yeah. You know what I want to do now? This is kind of smart. So like now you get into here, and now you're like, wait a minute. I can do this. Hold on. Edit. No, I want to edit. Can I not edit in here? Home space editor. There we go.
Ah, the home space editor. A
Yes.
great place to start your creative journey. We're still working on this right now. In time, you'll be able to put things you've made here so it feels like your own.
For real? I can't edit my home space in the beta? Meh! Ah ha 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 ha. Yes, you can? What? You just said I can't. Or I gotta do a tutorial first or something? Oh, I can do that. Okay. Yeah, move over there. Weird. I thought it sounded like he was like, no, not really so much right now. So I can't clone stuff, though. But I can move stuff around. Okay. So let's put that there. And that, like, there. Let's take this guy, put him over here. No, not quite. Huh? Yeah. A little bit lower. Right. Yes. Yes. Get out of here, clouds. That's one way to do it. Nailed it. Wouldn't that be like so satisfying in any other video game? Just like, nope. Anything else I'm missing in here? Man, if you ever played a Media Molecule game, it's all about those orbs, man. Bloop. So satisfying every time. We got that guy. Okay, cool. Ah! What? Huh? What? What? I love leveling up. What happened? No! I get a persona. Oh my goodness. We should have a better idea of who you are by level 5. All right. Can we get to level 5 in 32 minutes? I doubt it.
Now to explore the wider world of dream shaping.
How many more tutorials we got? Start dreaming. Wait, why aren't these filled in? Didn't I do that? Logic tutorials, my goodness. Animation too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dreams Masterclass. Okay. Yeah, weird that the 1, 2, 3, 4 here isn't like filled in. I thought I did that. Oh well. Logic tutorial for sure. Yeah.
In this tutorial, you're gonna learn all about the exciting world of logic.
Oh no, Cuthbert again.
Pay no attention to Cuthbert. It's not as complicated as it sounds. I promise. Let's check out the scene.
Okay.
See the buttons on the platforms in front of our good friend Connie?
Yeah.
They activate the bridges that will take her to the next platform.
Great.
At least that's what they're supposed to do. To get them working, you'll need to connect them to the gadgets that control them. You can't see gadgets when you're in play mode, but they let you do all sorts of useful things in edit mode. You can tell gadgets apart by their color and icons.
Cool.
Green gadgets are sensors
and
inputs.
inputs. Got it.
This one is what we call a trigger zone. It's one of
Okay.
the more versatile gadgets.
Cool.
It can trigger other gadgets when it detects something in the scene. Like in this case, Connie standing on the button. Hi, Connie. If you select the gadget with X, you'll be able to see its detection zone. That's it, right there above the button. Press the circle button to deselect the trigger zone, and let's look at the next gadget. Red gadgets are movers and outputs, meaning they make things happen in the scene. This particular gadget is a rotator, and it's connected to the first bridge. Click R3 to start time, and let's see what it does.
What on earth is
Well,
R3?
Not a lot right now by the looks of it.
This guy? What? No. What? No. No, go away. I don't want to share things. Go away. No, go
That's
back.
because the rotator is switched off.
What is R3 on this thing?
You can tell because the gadget is dim at the moment. But if we connect these two gadgets together, we can turn the rotator on using the trigger zone. Dim at the moment is a rotator gadget. Red gadgets are movers and outputs, meaning they make things happen in the scene.
Oh, did
This
I
particular
accidentally
gadget
select
is a rotator,
the
and
wrong
it's connected
tutorial?
to the first bridge. Click R3 to start
Should I
time,
bail?
and let's see what it does.
Yeah, that's fine.
In this tutorial,
I didn't really do anything. No,
you're
no,
going
no,
to
no.
learn all about the
Get out of here. Whoa.
exciting world of logic.
Don't. Exit tutorial. Get out of here. How do I get out? How do I escape? There we go. Oh, it's like, okay. So I haven't done Start Dreaming Part 1 of 4 because that's with the actual, like, move controller. Okay. Well then, fine. I'll use the other controller then. Oh, look at the icon underneath the window for each tutorial? Oh, okay. Wait, what? Yeah, there it is. Boom, okay. Alright. Alright.
In this tutorial, you're going to learn all about the exciting world of logic.
Oh, and I move around this way. Oh, okay.
Pay no attention to Cuthbert. It's not as complicated as it sounds. I promise. Let's check out the scene. See the buttons on the platforms in front of our good friend Connie?
Uh-huh.
They activate the bridges that will take her to the next platform. At least that's what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
To get them working, you'll need to connect them to the gadgets that control them. You can't see gadgets when you're in play mode, but they let you do all sorts of useful things in edit mode. You can tell gadgets apart by their
I'm gonna be in
colour and
tutorials for like a
icons.
long time in this
Green
game.
gadgets are sensors and inputs. This one is what we call a trigger zone. It's one of
Right.
the more versatile gadgets.
L1 and R2
It can
clone
trigger
things now.
other
Okay.
gadgets when it detects something in the scene. Like in this case, Connie standing on the button. Hi, Connie. If you select the gadget with X, you'll be able to see its detection zone. That's it, right there above the button.
Okay.
Press the circle button to deselect the trigger zone, and let's look at the next gadget. Red gadgets are movers and outputs, meaning they make things happen in the scene. This particular gadget is a rotator, and it's connected to the first bridge. Click R3 to start time, and let's see what it does. Well, not a lot right now by the looks of it. That's because the rotator is switched off. You can tell because the gadget is dim at the moment. But if we connect these two gadgets together, we can turn the rotator on using the trigger zone. In the next step, I'll show you how.
Oh, okay. I'm ready.
Before we start connecting things, make
this,
sure
yeah, you
can
need the
see
camera
both
to...
gadgets.
I don't know if you need the
You'll notice they
camera to
have
play
ports
Dreams, but you need the
sticking
camera
out
for
their
to do
sides.
this movement.
Ports on the left are inputs, and the ones on the right are outputs.
Got it, left to right.
Hover over the output port on the trigger zone now.
Okay.
You'll see the word detected appear. That means that when the trigger zone detects
no, no.
something, this output will send a signal. Before it can send that signal to the rotator though, we'll need to connect them with a wire. So hover over the detected output and press R2 or X. You'll notice your imp is now tethered to the port by a wire. Power ports have appeared on the gadgets too. It's these ports that switch gadgets on or off. Okay, drag the wire over to the red rotator gadget.
Oh.
Now hover over the power port at the bottom, then press R2 or X. Once the gadgets are connected, the wire will disappear automatically. That way, your scene won't get cluttered. After all, you don't want wires all over the place. You can see the wire
Wires are cool.
again by hovering over either gadget.
Got it.
Okay, time to test our connection out. So let's switch over to play mode in the options menu. That's more like it. Now the trigger zone detects Connie when she stands on the button and activates the rotator on the bridge. As soon as she steps off, the rotator stops working. You can use the button to get the bridge lined up with the platform.
Yay,
Once
Connie, you're
is
so much
connected
easier to
the
control on
second
the
platform, you
dual
can
shot.
head back to edit mode and move on to the next step.
Rewind. Bow. Bow.
Now that we've
Nice.
connected the rotator,
Am I losing
let's
frames?
take
I don't
a
know,
look
am
at
I?
the second platform. See the white gadget on its side? This gadget isn't a sensor or an output. It's called a
Camera losing
microchip.
frames too.
Microchips are used to organize logic in scenes.
Alright.
You can think of them as boxes of gadgets and
okay.
wires. This.
Okay.
Now that we've connected the rotator, let's take a look at the second platform. See the white gadget on its side?
Oh, L3.
This
okay.
gadget isn't a sensor or an output. It's called a microchip. Microchips are used to organize logic in scenes. You can think of them as boxes of gadgets and wires.
I'm familiar with these.
Let's have a look inside. Hover over this one with your imp. Hold L1 and press X. It's just like scoping into a group of objects. This window is the microchip's canvas. And if these gadgets look familiar, it's because they're two rotators. Each one controls half of this jointed drawbridge.
Ah, okay.
Try to connect the output from the trigger zone to the power ports on the rotators. You can create multiple wires from the same output. Or you can clone wires in the scene by holding L1, then grabbing them with R2. Clone the wire near the rotator to create a new wire from the trigger zone. Once you've connected the trigger zone to the second rotator, switch over to play mode and make sure it's all working.
Okay. Oh, I rewound when I shouldn't have.
Okay, jumping on the button now will activate the trigger zone and raise the drawbridge so that you can cross over the... Oh, wait a minute. The bridge has dropped down before Connie could cross. That's because the signal to the rotator stopped sending as soon as Connie stepped off the trigger zone.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Switch back to edit mode and rewind time with L3. In the next step, I'll show you how to make signals stay on.
Okay.
If we want the bridge
Connie,
to stay
you
up,
spanner.
we need to add a gadget between the trigger zone and the rotator to keep it activated. We can do this with a counter. So let's go into the assembly menu. Press square to open it if it's closed. Select the gadgets menu with X. You'll find the counter in the logic and processing section. X. We can do this with a counter.
Oh.
So let's go into the assembly menu. Press square to open it if it's closed. Select the gadgets menu with X. You'll find the counter in the logic and processing section. The gadgets in this menu take an input signal and change it in some way before sending it on. Go ahead and select the counter. Its icon is a tally counter. Now you can see the gadget on your imp. Hover over the microchip and it will snap to the canvas. Press R2 or X to stamp the counter onto the microchip. Then press circle to unequip it.
Okay.
The counter gadget counts up or down whenever it receives a signal through its inputs.
Through its inputs, okay.
By default, it starts its count at 0 and has a target of 1. Once it reaches that target, it sends a constant signal through its counter-full output port.
The counter-full output port.
Before we connect it though, let's tidy up the wires connecting the trigger zone to the rotators. Just hover over them and press triangle to delete them.
Oh. Okay.
Now press R2 or X over the detected output of the trigger zone to create a new wire. Connect it to the increase count input port on the counter. That's the port with the plus sign icon. Now when the trigger zone is activated, the counter will go up to 1.
Yeah.
And, this is the important part, it will stay at 1 even after the trigger zone deactivates. Now hover over the counter-full output port of the counter. This port sends a signal when the counter reaches its target.
Got it.
Create a wire with R2 or X and connect it to one of the rotator's
and
power
so we just need,
ports.
I think we need to just tell the counter
do the
then
same
to
to
stop
the
at
other
1.
one. Time to switch to play mode and try out our new
Or does that just,
connections.
it's set to 1 automatically. Is that why it's 1 right there? I guess.
When you're happy everything's working as it should, return to edit mode and move on to the next step.
Yeah! Okay.
Just one more bridge for Connie to cross. As
Yeah,
you
I'll
can
bet.
see, we have another
Connie, I think you're going to be
microchip
crossing
on
many
top.
bridges before I'm
So let's
comfortable with
open
this
it up.
game. This is far from the
Hover
last
over it with
tutorial.
your imp. Hold
Looks
L1
like there are dozens.
and press X. Okay, looks like we have everything we need here. But Connie's an adventurer, so how about we make this last bridge more challenging?
Oh my.
Adding a timer to the logic should get
Ah.
the adrenaline going.
Got it,
Once
got it.
Connie activates the button, she'll only have a few seconds to cross before the bridge drops back down.
Okay.
Let's head back to the assembly menu. If it isn't already open, press square. Then go into the gadgets section.
Gadgets.
You'll find the timer in the same place as the counter, the logic and processing section. Its button has a clock face on it. Now go ahead and stamp the timer gadget onto the microchip with R2 or X. Then unequip it from your imp with the circle button. Now let's take a closer look at the timer's inputs and outputs.
Oh my.
You can see their names by hovering over the ports. The first input is a start timer port. Once this receives a signal, it will start the clock.
I just love this is all in real
The
time
second
too.
one
It's all
is
like physically in
reset
the space,
timer,
you can still see
which
everything.
sets the time back to 0.
No.
Over on the output side, we have timer finished and timer output.
Okay.
Timer finished sends a signal when the timer reaches the required number.
Okay.
It's set to 5 seconds by default.
Got it.
Timer output is a little more sophisticated. The signal it sends represents the timer's current progress. If, let's say, it's only halfway to its target, the signal it sends will be half strength.
Okay.
So how do we connect this so the bridge only stays up for a few seconds?
I don't know.
Well, we need the bridge to be raised while the timer is running. So create a wire on the timer output with R2 or X. Remember how we used the counter on the previous platform? We can use one here too. Just like before, connect the wire to the counter's increase count input. Then connect the counter full output to the rotator's power port. Time to see if it works. Click R3 to test it out. As you can see, since the timer isn't connected to a trigger yet, the clock starts ticking as soon as we play the scene. The bridge goes up, but doesn't drop down when the timer finishes.
Okay.
That can only mean one thing. There's a problem with the logic. If you'd like to figure it out for yourself, feel free to check the gadgets and see what's wrong. Or move on to the next step and we'll go through it together.
Please, let's go through it together. I'm streaming right now. I can't think too much.
So let's take a look at why the bridge stayed up after the timer finished instead of going back down. Remember how we used the counter earlier to remember the signal from the trigger zone? Well, now it's remembering the signal from the timer, so we need to make it forget that once the timer finishes. Let's go over to the counter gadget. Hover over the inputs to see their names. This one here is reset count. It'll put the counter back to 0, which will turn off the rotator. So all we need to do is connect it to the timer, but to which output? Aha, there we go. We can use the timer finished output. Hover over it and create a wire with R2 or X. Then stretch the wire over to the counter and connect it to the reset count input. But we also need to reset the timer, otherwise the logic will only work once. So let's get another wire from the timer finished output and connect this one to the reset timer input. You'll recognize it by the rewind symbol on it. All we have left to do is to connect the trigger zone to the start timer port so Connie can activate it. Okay, that was a lot of connections. So before we test it out, let's go over the logic we've made.
Yes, please. Okay.
First, Connie activates the trigger zone, which sends a signal to start the timer.
Yes.
Once the clock starts running, the timer output becomes active.
Yes.
This tells the counter to count up. That then turns on the rotator and raises the bridge. Now this is where the really clever stuff comes in. After 5 seconds, the timer finishes its count.
How do you change
which
that?
Activates the timer finished output. This in turn resets the counter to 0, cutting the signal to the rotators and lowering
Lower
the bridge.
Okay.
And let's not forget, it also resets the timer. So the logic could be triggered again if Connie didn't cross the bridge the first time. Isn't logic exhilarating? Take your time digesting all that. Logic is easier to read if you route your wire neatly. Grab wires with X to change their paths.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
You can also move the gadgets around by grabbing them with R2. Feel free to test it out in play mode, but don't leave the scene just yet. I have one more thing to show you.
Okay. Let's just make sure. Oops.
So, on the third platform, we've set up a timer that makes the bridge drop after 5 seconds. I think that might be too easy for a seasoned pro like Connie.
Ah, here, yes, of course.
Let's make it a little bit more challenging.
Okay.
First, if in play mode, switch back to edit mode and rewind time with L3.
I'm already back on the
Moving
platform. it's fine.
closer to the microchip with the timer. You can use the grab cam, R1, to view your view. Now I'll show you how to tweak a gadget's settings. Hover over the timer gadget, hold L1 and press square.
Press square.
This tweak menu contains the settings for the timer.
Oh.
Hover over the sliders and buttons to see their names. The top slider sets the target time for the timer. If we lower this setting, the bridge will stay up for a shorter time. To adjust the value, hover your imp over the slider, then hold X. Use your imp to drag the slider left or right.
So you set to 1 second.
Set
How
it
is
to
that
around
not-
3 seconds. It doesn't have to be exact. If you're a stickler for precision, you can adjust the slider incrementally using the up and down directional buttons. Just hover your imp over the slider and press up or down to tweak the value. In fact, why don't we make things really interesting for Connie? Let's set it to 2.5 seconds. You can close the tweak menu now by selecting the cross in the top corner with X. Or you could use a shortcut. Just hold L1, then press circle while hovering over the menu to close it quickly. The same shortcut works for closing microchips. Give it a try now. Hold L1, then hover your imp over the microchip and press circle.
Here,
Time to
okay.
test the scene in play mode.
Made it 2. I don't know. Make it 2.5. I'll go back and check that later.
If you have any
we only got 2
problems
seconds,
crossing
let's do
that
it.
last bridge, you can always tweak the timer again.
What did
in
I
edit
do?
mode. Remember,
Oh, no.
you just hover over the gadget, hold L1 and press
Did something.
square to open its tweak menu.
I broke it somehow.
When you're all set, take Connie to the last platform and walk through the door to complete this
What did I
tutorial.
Should I just do it to 1, I guess? Is that what I did wrong? Chat's yelling at me. I edited the counter, not the timer. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. Chat's like screaming at me. Jones! You're editing the wrong thing. It probably still won't work. No, it does. Ah. Connie, you got this. Nailed it. Cuthbert, you don't deserve me. Yay. I understood most of that. How about you, Snake? 22 months. Thank you so much. Okay, we have just a couple minutes left. So let's... Oh, cool. Run around this room for a little bit now. Let's... Dream shape. Oh! Feels good to level up, I gotta be honest. Okay. Let me go back to these beauties.
In a moment, you'll be creating and editing your own scenes in edit mode. Scenes are like levels in a game.
Right?
Or scenes in a movie.
Okay.
They're made up of elements. Elements are like props, sets, music, effects, and characters.
Word.
Anything that you can build inside a scene and save to the Dreamverse. Scenes are clipped together to form dreams. And these dreams can be found when you go dream surfing.
Dream surfer. How can I go? Do you still think I'm on the analog stick? Move. Oh, like that. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Showcase scene. Showing off story scene. Right. Game scene. Collection. Cool. Sculpture's what we want, but let's just say contraptions. Cool. Music. Right. Sound effects. Cool. Instruments. Vehicles. Excellent. Animation. Effects. And link the scenes together to make dreams. Cool. Start super fresh. Okay. Oh wait, how do I? Yeah, okay. Okay. What is this? What are you? You're a little square. Okay, cool. Oh my goodness. Edit shape. Okay. I'm sure there's a tutorial for this too, but we only got a couple minutes left, so I just really want to dive in. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is so trippy. Can you imagine doing this in VR? This would be so crazy. Just like, yes. 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 Yay. Not a fan of that color. Yeah. Red, baby. Yes. Woo! Psh. Pew. Psh. Yeah. Whoop. Meow. Folks, I'm gonna have fun in this video game, let me tell you, right now. We're gonna have a good time. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Let me try to... Okay. I kind of want to make it... Oh, we got all these different spectrums here. Yeah, browns. Yeah, that right, yeah. That brown there. Okay, okay. 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 Let's just make a thing. Basically making balloon animals at this point. Okay. That's not okay, folks. No. Okay, so where's my... Okay, yeah. Undo that. Okay. It's a monster. I mean, it's Sophie, right? It's clearly Sophie. It is unmistakable. It's like she's in the room with us. Boy, this is insane. This is going to take a while to get used to. Totally. We did it. How do I save that now? Oh my goodness. Wait. I want to edit it. Got so many things. Move, stretch, clone, delete, various shapes. I got delete. What if I try to leave? Okay. Start time. No, go back. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on. How do we save it? Sculpt mode, paint mode, coat mode, style mode, sound mode. Wow. Okay. Animate, gadgets, yeah. Yikes. Grid snap, okay. Motion control's a mistake. I know. How do I save it? Very strange. Well. Quick save. There we go. There we go. No, delete all of that. Very much a work in progress. We did it! This the poop balloon animal, Sophie. Oh man, well that's so crazy, and it's nice not to have to worry about like depth or size. You know, it's like, is this Sophie gonna be properly sized in relation to other objects that I make in a space? Doesn't matter. You create a level, and then it doesn't matter what animations I give the character or whatever. I can just shrink it down if I'm putting it in a level. But there we go. That's Dreams, folks. Upload it? No, I'm not uploading that. I refuse. People are like, I want to use it. No. I should look back on this creation in a year. Well, hopefully I'll... I did Sophie dirty, to be honest. I will upload it later. Yeah, I'm going to goof around with this for a little bit, and then we're shooting the podcast at 8:03, and then we got our group stream at 6 p.m. tonight, and we are going to do the opposite of what I just did, which is play other stuff that people have created. Maybe I'll bring the Move controllers, and maybe we'll goof around a little bit in creation before it's over. But now the other fun part of this, which I think is neat, if you saw everything that I just did and you're like, no, it's not for me. That looks so complicated and complex, and I don't have Move controllers, and I'm not interested. Supposedly, again, it's the first time I ever played this game. I've yet to jump in, but they have the everything that's been created by Media Molecule and everything that's been created in the whole Dreams beta. So there's a lot of crazy stuff in there, and there's all sorts of various ways that you can just jump through and try out various people's creations. And so we're going to be doing that tonight for a couple hours. Join us, twitch.tv/EasyAllies. Raul Giovanni, I forgot how fun Jones streams were. Oh, you're so kind. I haven't streamed games in a really long time in this space, but I think I'm okay. I think it sounded okay generally. People said I dropped the volume of the game, but I got my mic down here that I used for Cup of Jones. I can still see the screen. It's worked out pretty well. So yeah, I don't know if I am tempted now that we are in beta to maybe hang out every Tuesday morning, you know, maybe for like an hour and just like goof around in streams or in dreams, and streams and dreams. And I can update you on like fun stuff that I'm working on. I have no idea what kind of progress I'm going to make in this game in the future, but I think it would be fun to check back in with the community and see what we're working on. And just kind of like I used to do at Toy Box Tuesday back in the day, the idea that like, who knows what we're going to do today? Today, I might build something. I might do a tutorial today. I might play something. I might just kind of run around and play stuff that people have created. I might have people send me, you know, email me, brandon@easyallies.com or at me at Trailer Jones, and, you know, let me know what you're working on, and let me know if there's something you want me to check out, and we can play it at a future date. But again, it's scary to just add another thing to the schedule, to add another thing to stuff that I'm working on, especially since I'm actively reviewing Days Gone right now. So there's only so many games I can play, Sony. But thank you to Sony for providing access to this game. I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get in today and actually play this, because I know there's a limited amount of early access copies of the game digitally going out. But I'm in, finally, and I'm going to play this a lot more. But as far as when you see it live, the next time we play this will be tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're watching this later, the archive, go check out that stream too. And maybe we'll come back later at some future date, and we'll hang out. We'll play some dreams again. Thanks so much, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Take care.